Hi everyone, Sue from Art, Craft and Journals, and as you can see from the front screen, I've decided to do the scavenger hunt for this year that's been organised by Janet M. Young. And if you would like to have more information, go and pop over and have a look at her channel. And you can also download the prompts which were on the sheet that I just sort of showed you. What I decided to do was I thought I would use, I've got quite a few covers for books where I've taken out the book block in the middle, so I thought I would use one of those for my journal. So as you can see, I've just gessoed the whole front, and I did actually record me painting it, but unfortunately where I thought I was recording, I was actually not recording, and when I thought I'd pause the video, I actually was recording. So effectively I recorded what I didn't need to record and didn't record what I wanted to record. So as you can see, I did paint the front cover with some bright coloured paints, different sorts of paints. There was some Dina Wakley ones in there, and a couple of other cheaper ones. So what I'm doing now is I'm just using the same colours again to do some stenciling, just to give the cover a little bit of interest. And as you can see, what I'm doing is I'm using the green, and I actually start where the green is and then move off the green. So it sort of moves the colour across the page a little, or the cover a little. Now I'm using the yellow and a different stencil and doing the same thing. I've started where the yellow is and then moved across to another colour. And I will keep doing that with all the colours and the different stencils, although I only used a couple of stencils with this one. I did actually use some art foamies as well, which you'll see in a couple of minutes. Here we go, and I'm just applying the paint with the brush. And they stamp really well, actually. I really like using the art foamies. And I actually dropped that one, and you can see I actually put a little bit of extra paint where it shouldn't have been, but it doesn't really matter. There's no point getting upset with something like that. And now we're just doing some more stamping with the blue paint with another art foamy. And I do change over to the final one, which is a purple heart. This heart one I did, and I'm pretty sure the last one, the blue that I used with the blue paint, pretty sure I got those from scrapbooking.com or scrapbookingandcraft.com, I think it is. And now what I've decided to do was I thought I would put my focal image on the front, and I've used this Paper Artsy Joffy flower stamp, and I stamped it on some book page just for a little bit of interest, and now I'm just colouring it in with just normal colouring pencils. I used pretty much the same colours that I used with the paint too, and in hindsight I probably should have changed the colouring a little bit and not had the purple and pink together, but you know, that's how sometimes it works out. And I'm just extending the stems a little bit so that the flower is just a little bit longer. So just following the stem down a little bit and colouring it in. I quite like how they've turned out too. And they were because the book page was very flimsy, I thought I would actually glue them onto some, I think it's cardstock, so just gives it a little bit more body. So just cutting that out to take off some of the extra, because I didn't really want to stick down those circular looking things. So just putting some glue, making sure I've covered the image at least. And then I cut them out basically. And I'm pretty sure I won't show you the whole lot of that. Yep. Now back to the cover, and what I'm doing now is I'm using again the colours that I used for the paint, and I don't have purple, so I couldn't use purple, so I chose black instead. So I'm just using the stamps just to add a little bit more interest again. And you'll see I use each of the colours with the stamps, just to put a little bit more interest, fill up some of those spaces. A bit hard to see the yellow. You can see it on the cover, but it is a little hard to see. I think most of those stamps were actually Kaiser craft stamps. Okay, so then I decided I would put the title being Scavenger Hunt 2020, and I got out some letter stamps, and they're very sort of grungy, these ones, and I did have a bit of fun trying to place them what I considered straight, because some of them really difficult to actually put straight. And of course, then I put them down and realised, hang on, that's not how you spell it. So I had to then readjust them a little bit. So I had a fiddle with them. Finally, I did actually. The V was giving me an awful lot of trouble. It just would not sit where I wanted it. So I had a little bit of a fiddle. That's where I discovered the N was missing. And then I finally did actually stamp that part, and then I had to add the ER on the end. So I basically did the same with the word hunt as well. Now the stamps did not have numbers, so as you'll see a little bit later, I did actually write the numbers myself. So Scavenger Hunt, there we go. And I just used a black pen, black marker I think it is. Actually really looking forward to doing this. I've seen quite a few different ladies now doing some. Wendy Mason has started, and to be honest, it was her who, I guess I saw her videos and thought, wow, you know, I'd like to do that. It's quite fun. So I thought I'd do it as well. So I followed her links that she had on her channel and had a look at some of the videos and decided, yep, I'm going to do it. I have had a look through some of the prompts. Most of them I think will be okay. There's a couple that I'm a little concerned about. A dry cleaning tag could be very difficult. I don't actually have anything that I'd ever bother getting dry cleaned, so I'm not sure about that one. I may just have to go and ask and see if I can get one. If you can have a look, I'm actually just outlining the flower images now so that they can be stuck on the front. There's also Baby Yoda, which I'm not actually sure what that is. What else is a little bit tricky? Paint skins, may actually have to deliberately make some of those. What else is there? Two-lined poem could be interesting. Don't consider myself a poet by any means. Oh, fortune out of a fortune cookie. That's going to be a tricky one for me as well. But all the rest I think should be fairly easy. We have things like dried flower petals. I know I can do that one. Sequins, a random useless fact. Interesting. Add a pocket, insert something, a mind map of a colour, create a border, washi tape. Should all be fairly easy. As you can see, I've just glued them down, and I used a matte medium for that, and I've just covered the whole thing with the matte medium just to protect it a little bit. And that's my finished cover. So now what I've done is I've made the signatures, and basically all that was an assortment of pages some was scrapbooking paper, some of it were jelly prints. I think there might have been some grid paper in there, just an assortment. And I did put them into 2 signatures because with 72 prompts, I wanted to make sure I had plenty of pages in there. And you can see I've just ruled up where I'm going to put the holes, and I'm going with a 5-hole, I think it's the pamphlet stitch, but it's got 5 holes. The reason I did 5 holes was I just wanted to make sure that they were secure in the cover, and it will be a hidden spine. I've got some calico, and I'm going to tear that a little bit and then glue it down to the card. And unfortunately, I guess I kind of forgot that the craft glue does show through the calico. Now I'm just deciding, do I want the exact same length as the card, or do I need it a bit longer? And I went with a little bit longer because I wanted it to stick out a little bit at the top and bottom. So you've just got that little frayed bit of fabric poking out the top of the spine. And now you can see I'm gluing it down. I should have probably smeared the glue a little bit better than I did, because you'll see when I turn it over that you can see quite clearly where I put the glue. But I figured, oh well, it doesn't matter. It will kind of be covered with the signatures anyway. So that's drying. Now this is where I I was going to use my cradle to poke the holes, but I did realise that I'd actually marked the holes on the outside, and I did that while I was ruling up the cardboard. Guess I wasn't really thinking when I was doing it. So then I thought, okay, no problem, we'll figure something out. So put some paper clips just to hold them all in place. Then I had to sit there, and I did have a few minutes think of how I was actually going to do it, or what I was actually going to use to poke the holes into. I've got the awl there, but I thought, what am I going to use underneath? You can see I grabbed the book, and then I thought, no, what are you doing? For Christmas, I actually got one of those We Are Memory Keepers Big Bites. And I thought, oh, crazy, I can use that. Of course, I haven't never used one before, but I figured I should be all right without reading the instructions. So you can see I'm just lining it up, and crunch, there goes the holes. And I didn't actually poke it through my fingers. So you can see I flipped it around. You can see the holes there. It's actually quite easy to use. And they worked out really well. Just poking out some of the little bits that didn't go through. So that worked out quite well. And I got to use my new tool. So that was nice. And now just measuring the string, and I usually go roughly 3 times the length of the spine. And of course I couldn't find any scissors, so I had to use my blade to cut. And just getting a needle and threading the thread, which isn't that great when you're using it's bacon's twine, and it just kept unraveling, but I got it in there. And just securing the end so that it doesn't get pulled through accidentally. So I'm just poking it through the second top hole and finding the corresponding one on the spine. And making sure that the calico and cardboard is the right way to stick in. And it's through the top hole, back down through the second hole again, and then make my way down to the bottom, and then back up again. And of course the twine got a little knotted. And now I'm just knotting the 2 ends, making sure it's fairly tight. Double knot and triple knot, and then cutting off the excess. And I did the same with the second one. Yeah, some of the other prompts, there's paint with Q-tips, which we call cotton buds, or I call cotton buds, washi tape, stick figure. Not sure what I'm going to do with that one. I have started to collect a few things, and I have a few ideas. I guess the challenge is to do it before the 1st of April, I believe it was. Yep, April the 1st, that's the completion date. And I think there is a prize for the person who finishes it first, and there's also a separate prize for a person who notices an R in Janet's book. So she's obviously going to put a little R somewhere in there, and if you spot that, you let her know. So I guess if you're determined to win, the idea would be to put more than one prompt on a page. I guess, for example, you could, I don't know, there's calligraphy, and there's also one somewhere, let's find a favourite quote or something like that. You could write the quote using calligraphy. That would be 2 on the one page. So if you did it that way, you'd get through the 72 quotes quicker. I will do some, but I'm looking forward to actually doing them, so I didn't really want to do them all in the one. Maybe there could be a prize for the person who can combine the most prompts on one page. That would be quite interesting. But we've got things like draw an eye, insert out of a magazine, jigsaw puzzle piece or playing card, old photo, shoes, pillow tag, that could be interesting. Money, real or pretend. I don't think there'd be too many people sticking real money in there, unless of course they had an old note from somewhere or something like that. Mermaid page, tribute to someone. Use food packaging. So there's quite a lot of interesting prompts to do, actually. I'm looking forward to doing it. Something with stitching, that could be interesting. So yeah, some good prompts. Okay, so signatures are sewn into the spine, and now it's a matter of gluing it all together. You can see I did actually put some scrapbook paper in the inside cover, and I did actually edge the cover with black, what was it? A Sharpie. I used a black Sharpie, and I just went around the edge because there was a bit of paint on some of it, and so I just neatened it up, I guess. Now I'm just putting some tape, double-sided tape, and I do use some art glitter glue as well, and I think I use craft glue, so I used all 3. I use the art glitter glue with the double-sided tape on the actual cardboard part of the spine. And now just putting some art glitter glue. Making sure that spine is not going anywhere. Gluing it down. It did actually take quite a while to actually to hold. I was surprised. Now just using the box of paper clips to hold it out of the way while I use the craft glue to glue down the calico. Now because I didn't want the glue to show through like it had happened on the spine, I sort of smoothed out the craft glue a little bit so it wasn't so thick, and then just used the credit card to sort of smooth it all down. Worked quite well. And now the other side as well. So if you are interested, pop over to Janet M. Young's channel. I will put the link below, and we're using the hashtag Scavenger Hunt 2020 as well, to so that you can sort of find everyone else's videos and things. But looks like a lot of fun. And I mean, you don't have to finish it by April if you don't want to, you know. You could challenge yourself to, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, I'm starting almost a month late, but I'm not too fussed. You know, for me, it's just doing it. It's fun, and there's kind of no rules as such. You know, it just says, "Thanks for playing in another scavenger hunt challenge. There is only one rule: have fun. Use your imagination to complete each prompt listed. The more imaginative, the better. Items can be interpreted in any way you wish and created from your imagination." It says no one's going to grade this. The winner will be determined in a random drawing of all participants who complete each prompt listed below. So, you know, there's no pressure with it really. You know, you can just have a bit of fun. And you can see I'm just having a flip through of the pages, and there's some pages from I think they were gifted to me in some Happy Mail. And there's some of my own gel prints and painty pages, some scrapbooking paper, some paper I've ripped out of a notebook. So just a variety of pages. Not too many that are coloured. And that's it. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.